All right, here we go with day 6. And again, it's the energy that I get whenever I do these meditations that kind of get me in the state, like I was talking, of what it is I'm going to talk about. And today it kind of made me start to think about just everything on the outside world. I feel like we don't have our spirit like cultivated or nourished sometimes. Like we feel like we're taught that if we're like not like everybody in society or we don't fit in the box that they try to put us in, like you have to be this way, all this stuff's good, all this stuff's bad. Now I'm not saying none of it is, like they put us in categories where, doctors are better than bankers and well, not like financial bankers in some instances, but and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the jobs that everybody does. I just feel like that's your job. It's like don't strive to be better than somebody else because they put us in categories where they like you're supposed to feel bad if you're not in one of these categories or you're not good enough or you're somewhat less than some other people. And like I don't remember the exact thing, but when I was in Saybrook University for a semester at grad school, they taught us that there's like 7 different areas of knowledge, and that the testing that schools do with all the ACTs and all that stuff only test 3 of those categories, which are awesome for the people that are good at those categories because they're the ones that score high on the test. But usually the ones that don't score high on those tests are the ones that are better in the other 4 categories. But they're made to look bad because, oh, you didn't do good on your ACT, so you didn't get into school. Oh, you got to take the GRE after you just went through 4 years of school. Now, I understand if you want to go be a doctor, you do have to have some knowledge and you do have to, do good on those tests, whatever it is, the MCAT. I understand all that. But don't judge your value based on all these things that the outside world said we need to be. I feel like we need to be who we are on the inside. Like me, I didn't do really well on my ACTs, but I'm really good with spiritual stuff and some of these other aspects, maybe art, maybe you're good at music, maybe you're good at some other aspects of life. But then, you have that idea that, well, I didn't do good on this test, so maybe I'm not that good. So it kind of makes us feel bad about ourselves. So, and again, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody that's good at this stuff. I have, relatives that are highly intelligent and are good. Nothing wrong with that. Dude, that's what that's what they were put on here to do. And that's what I'm saying. Instead of judging yourself based on everybody else, be in competition with yourself. Like Dean Graziosi always says, strive to be better than the person you were yesterday, and then keep going. Like don't judge yourself based on everybody else. Base yourself on who were you yesterday. Like, am I better than the person I was yesterday? So that kind of got me going and on this journey too, is because I was always looking at everybody else that had success, and then I would judge myself like, how am I going to do that? Like that person's great, and kind of like I was saying yesterday, we get these judgments on seeing putting these people on pedestals, and sure they're great, sure there's people that are have more knowledge than me in this moment, but that doesn't mean I can't reach that. So I always just, like I was saying yesterday, I just strive to be better than I was and focus every moment and see what I can do. So I guess it's just I feel like you got to feel it from within, and you know and just remember, some days you're not going to be at your best. Like even in this moment, I still get a little bit nervous, but that's the thing, is to transmute that nervous energy and learn how to kind of like slow down and be in this moment. Like I realize sometimes when my mind starts to speed up, when there's too much stuff going on, maybe too much stress, too much work, too much, maybe what am I going to do, how am I going to achieve this, how am I going to do that, and then your mind gets all wrapped up and everything starts going at once. And like we were saying, like someone was saying yesterday, is that it's that monkey mind where your thoughts and emotions and everything are controlling your existence. And I feel like that's why meditation like helps you kind of slow down, relax, focus, be in that moment, uh, and not let all the outside noise get to you. And see, that's kind of what happens with stress. Stress is like a very fast energy. It's going really, 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 really fast. And it's more like because we're in beta waves right now when you're in everyday waking state, and those are like the fast waves that go really fast. Where alpha is kind of slower, delta's even slower and stuff. So and that's what meditation and yoga and all that stuff promotes. It helps change your brain waves from the fast ones of beta to the slower ones of alpha. And when you're more relaxed, then think. And I sometimes have wonder if that's why people don't like THC so much, because it helps everything kind of slow down, because and then you're not so stressed out. It's just a thought, but you never know. So and that's the thing, is that I remember when I was younger, my mind used to get going so crazy that, sometimes I'd get panic attacks. I haven't had them in 20 years, but, there was so much going on in my head that I just couldn't deal with it all. There were so many thoughts of, what am I going to do? Are people going to be upset? Am I going to be judged? What am I going to do with my future? There were so many questions going on, and then that would create stress and anxiety inside me, and then that would cause like acid reflux, and then I just would be like, oh my god, I'm having heart palpitations, and all of a sudden you got a full-blown panic attack. And I had to learn that was what was going on, and I learned that by taking psychology. Like my psychology teacher, Dr. Rogers, some of you might know who he is. He used to teach at SC4, and he said he was having the same problems, and he went to the emergency room. And then it finally made me realize that it was all in my mind, because your mind gets going. And a lot of the things, your mind creates scenarios sometimes that aren't even true. You start thinking about, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, I don't know if any of that's going to happen. And then most of the time, you're thinking of things that don't even happen. You're like seeing a future that isn't even real. I mean, I don't even know if this is real, but that's a question for a different video. You know, but we go through scenarios in our head of what possibly could happen, and then 99% of those probably don't even happen, and then you just spent time worried about something that may or may not happen, and then it creates like a snowball effect and then it just goes down until next thing you know, you're down. So and meditation helps you stop that stream of thoughts from going downhill into negativity. And it's weird, because until you actually start doing it, you won't really understand the whole premise of it. Like Wayne Dyer used to always say, I can tell you all the things about riding a bike, how you got to balance, pedal, and all that, but until you actually get on the bike and start riding, you don't totally understand what it is to ride a bike. So with meditation, until you actually sit down, breathe, and your mind's always going to go crazy. It's just part of it. And a lot of people quit because they think that they're supposed to like be an on-off switch in your mind. And nah, you just sit there and breathe. You just sit there and breathe and focus on it, and just let the thoughts come and go. They're not going to shut off automatically. And then after you kind of reach that state, you kind of start to slow down, just keep breathing, pay attention to your thoughts, let them come and go, no matter what they are. And then you just keep breathing, and then slowly but surely, after you kind of start to calm down, then your mind will just kind of drift away here and there. And then you'll, come back to the thoughts, and then you'll be like, and then you can focus on your breath, or start repeating a so hum mantra in your head, like so hum, and then on the out breath, and just keep doing that, and then focus on the so hum, and say it quietly to yourself in your mind, and then you'll start to drift away again. You'll start to have thoughts, and then you'll be like, oh, I'm not doing the so hum, and then you shift back to it and do it again, and you just kind of do that for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then the more you do it, the more your body will start to settle down, and the more these like thoughts will not come as much, and you'll just be more relaxed in the moment. And if you can get it to where you do it every day, then it becomes just second nature. Like I always feel a little bit wound up when I wake up. And then once I meditate, I kind of get focused and relaxed and into this. And like even when I do some of these videos in the beginning, I get a little bit wound up. But then I got to tell myself to relax, focus, be here, and let the energy flow through me out into the world. So that's what I'm trying to say is that it's all in here, man. We all got greatness inside us. We all got something inside of us that needs to come out. And it doesn't matter what that is. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own thing inside them. It could be big, it could be small. That's not for me to say. That's for you to kind of discover with yourself. But the more you stay with yourself, the more you breathe and the more you are in this moment, the more you're able to tap into it because I feel like that energy's in that slowness and that stillness of this moment. And when you can focus more on being in this moment and slowing yourself down, then that energy, whatever that gift is, whatever it is, then you start to see it because it's not so fast and crazy like sometimes the outside world gets with all the stress and the to-do lists and all the stuff we're supposed to do. And I'm not saying any of that's bad. I'm just saying we need to prioritize ourselves in there somewhere too, so we can tap into what's in our hearts, what's in our soul, and what's in our being, so we can be that person. And I hope that me being this person will help you and other people see that they can be something greater if they really, really want to. That it's all starts within, and it all starts with getting to know who you are, what you like to do. If it's different than somebody else, that's awesome. It doesn't matter. It's you. It doesn't matter if it fits into these categories of life or what we're supposed to do or this person's better than that person. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're all who we are, and that's all we can be. So focus more on being that person that you are.